Hi, I'm Henry from Wilgen Garden Center, and welcome to week number 6 of Perennial of the Week. Our featured theme for this week is bee gardening. And some of you off the bat might be thinking, why would we want to do a bee garden? Well, a lot of bee numbers, especially honeybees, their numbers have declined over recent years. So it's kind of a good idea to put some plants in the garden, to think about them, to give them some plants that would be great food sources for them, to kind of try to help rebound their numbers in a small way in our own gardens. Now our featured plant for this week is the perfect plant for that, and that's going to be this Agastache Blue Fortune. And this Agastache Blue Fortune right now actually is covered in bumblebees right now. And Agastache Blue Fortune is a great versatile plant for the garden, because not only is it good for the bumblebees, it's also great for butterflies. It's also a really good plant for hummingbirds as well, so you can cover 3 different species with one plant. But also, Agastache Blue Fortune, it's a great long summer bloomer for the garden. It's also a wonderful plant because it's also drought tolerant. So we've had a really hot summer this year. So once Agastache Blue Fortune gets established in your garden, it has great drought tolerance to the plant to hold up even in these hot times as well. If you do cut the old flowers off of this plant, it will keep the plant blooming throughout the season, and this will start beginning of summer and go right through even into the fall. Hey, and some great plants to accent that Agastache Blue Fortune are going to be this Caryopteris Snow Fairy. Caryopteris Snow Fairy is a relatively new plant here at the Garden Center. It's something we've carried for a couple of years now, and this is going to top out around 3x3, 4x4, and it's got this great, wonderful green and white foliage that will also get nice little tinges of pink in it. But in the summer here, and generally in August, this is going to be covered in blue Caryopteris-like flowers, and it's just stunning display in the garden, and another great one that the bees and the butterflies will go crazy for. And to go with this Caryopteris, you could do something like the great coneflowers. I know we've mentioned these in some of our videos before, but coneflowers, again, it's just such a great versatile plant. It's a wonderful bee plant, wonderful butterfly plant. Going to bloom for a long time in the garden, and this wonderful pink color off the color of the Caryopteris is going to be a fantastic combination. Now also for the bees as well, something that'll start blooming a little bit earlier in the summer is you could do something like these, just a simple Shasta daisy. This is one called Becky, going to get about 3 feet in the garden. Great for the bees, great for the butterflies, but also good as a cutting flower as well in the garden. But these are all simple plants to grow that will give you something that's going to be easy for the bees to find, and something that's going to be a great food source for them. A couple other accent plants that go great with the Agastache Blue Fortune is going to be this wonderful Black-Eyed Susan. Now this is something a little bit different. This is not the typical Goldstrom. This is a Black-Eyed Susan called Viet's Little Susie. And Viet's Little Susie is going to have a little bit of a smaller bloom, but still the same great color with the dark eye zone. But this is only going to get to be about 2 feet tall. And I know in my garden this plant hasn't taken over the world. It hasn't seeded as heavily as what the Goldstrom does. It's actually been a little bit more well behaved for me, but still blooms for a great amount of time. It gives me wonderful long bloom period, and it's also very drought tolerant. I have this growing in a spot that doesn't get very much water, and it has done really well for me in my garden at home. And that golden color is going to go wonderful with the color of the Agastache Blue Fortune. Now another plant that I think a lot of people have in their garden, may not realize it's a good bee plant, but it's going to be lavender. And this is lavender Munstead right down here, but any lavender would do. Lavender is going to be a wonderful bee plant. In fact, a lot of people will actually use lavender to make lavender honey. So it is something that's actually very important in beekeeping, especially if you are doing honey to get a certain type. But lavender also is going to be another plant that's going to give you great fragrance in the garden, great for a walkway, great flowers if you want to cut them or dry them. And it's also got incredible good drought resistance in the garden as well, for these hot summers that we've been having. Another great summer bloomer for the garden is this Helenium Canary. And Helenium as a group, and there's other colors as well, but Helenium as a group, they're great, wonderful long summer bloomers. They're easy to grow. They're another native plant. Small blossoms. What it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in profusion. Because you can see on some of these heads, there's a lot of buds, a lot of flowers in these heads. So it is going to bloom for you for a long time. Going to be a little bit of height for the garden. These will top out around 4 feet in the garden, so you do want to put it towards the back. But again, this is another great summer blooming, drought tolerant perennial for our gardens here in Connecticut. And last but not least, I'm going to show you, this is another great native plant, something that's going to get some height to it in the garden. This is Eupatorium, or Joe Pye weed. And Eupatorium Joe Pye weed is a plant you could actually grow in a spot that gets a little bit more moisture, likes to be kept a little bit more on the moist side. You tend to see it growing at the edges of streams and ponds and lakes, things of that nature. You'll find it growing. This is going to get nice big purple-pink flower clusters to it, and they're in bloom now. So this is a great August bloomer when a lot of your earlier summer stuff is finished blooming. This is, depending on the variety of this, it's going to range anywhere from about 3 to 4 feet on up to about 5 to 7 feet, depending on the variety that you put into the garden. But it's a great, easy to grow perennial, and not only is this great for bees, but it also works wonderful for butterflies as well. In fact, certain species of butterflies will actually lay their eggs on this, and the caterpillars will eat the leaves, and this will be a great food source for the caterpillar stage of certain species of butterflies as well. So another one to really check out, and you can use it for multiple things. So thanks for watching this week. I'm Henry from Van Welch's Garden Center. Please come on down to the Garden Center so we can show you some of these great plants. And until next time.